Hi everyone, Kyle here. I'm a personal trainer and the director at SGR Strength. I decided to make this video to offer advice and answer some of the circulating questions on the forums around whole body vibration training. To explain what it is, offer advice on the technology and how it works, who can use it, and why whole body vibration training is important. So, this is the PowerPlate. PowerPlate is a brand and a manufacturer of vibrating machines. There are others on the market, however PowerPlate were the pioneers who introduced the machine in the 1970s and remain market leader. The machine has a vibrating platform that can move 25 up to 50 times per second, so at a really rapid rate. Now, to demonstrate the PowerPlate, I'm actually going to use my trusty assistant, Optimus Prime. If you just watch this way, I'm going to turn the machine on. So, the machine kicks into life. Now, Newton's third law states that for every force in nature there is an equal and opposite reaction. In other words, the force that's generated on the left-hand side of the platform is equal to the right, and the force generated on the right-hand side of the platform is equal to the force generated on the left. So therefore, in the middle, there then is a subtle equal force where your spine would be. And you can see that now because Optimus Prime isn't moving. The energy it produces is transferred into the body, resulting in a natural reflexive response to the vibrations. The natural response stimulates the body's nervous system and the working muscles to react without cognitive brain input. This is key to those who suffer from any form of brain damage, which results in fine or gross mobility issues, such as sitting, crawling, or picking up a pen. I personally use PowerPlate as they have many medical studies published. The platform delivers a consistent, powerful and controllable vibration which moves in 3 separate directions: up and down, forwards and backwards, and side to side. Others don't necessarily do this. There are many brands out there on the market, so do your research into the right one for you. So, who can use whole body vibration training? Quite simply, everyone. Originally, it started out being used by Russian cosmonauts to tackle the effects of zero gravity. The results achieved were soon realised by coaches and professional athletes, as well as the military. Over the years, this is now cascaded down to the wider public and is present in a lot of gym chains and can be purchased for home use too. Like any exercise routine or new piece of equipment, it is advisable to consult your doctor before use. They may not be familiar with whole body vibration training, but will have a good understanding of your capabilities and current health status, which should be considered before starting. What is important to seek is the advice of a professional who is familiar with whole body vibration training and who can advise you on its uses and its place within your health and fitness regime. The reason whole body vibration training is unique to conventional training is that it stimulates the body's nervous system and muscles. This is normally done by your brain. For those who suffer with cerebral palsy, the areas of the brain responsible for movement, such as the cerebellum, the motor cortex and the basal ganglia, are damaged. It is therefore the fault of the brain and its inability to connect with the muscles that leads to poor mobility. The physical manifestation of muscle imbalances, muscle weaknesses, irregular posture, spasticity, dystonia, etc., therefore can develop as a result of the brain damage. To explain how the brain creates movement in a typical person. Firstly, the brain makes a decision to carry out an action. It then connects to a muscle or a series of muscles through the nervous system via impulses. These impulses are received by the muscles and complete the desired action. Feedback is then given to the brain whether or not the action was completed successfully. In other words, the brain is responsible for muscles to do what it wants, such as sitting, rolling over, catching a ball, or standing up. To explain how the brain works for a person who sustained brain damage. Typical brain function and development is hindered due to the brain damage, and thus reduces the connectivity with the rest of the body. Very much the same way as a mobile phone is limited without a network signal or Wi-Fi. The brain damage affects the nerve pathways that carry the impulses to the body's muscles. This causes two possible issues. Some areas of the body and muscles are very well used, established and capable, whilst some areas and muscles become neglected or at worst not used at all. The body develops unevenly as a result, causing postural and movement issues. This is particularly noticeable in cerebral palsy sufferers, as the postural differences can be extreme and struggle with controlled movement. Muscles in the body work in pairs and have opposites. The technical term for this is antagonist muscles, muscles that oppose the action of another, such as the upper arm. You've got the bicep group and the tricep group. The bicep creates this movement and the tricep creates this movement, but both oppose the other. An example of the leg, the upper leg, the quadricep group and the hamstring group. The hamstring group create this movement, whilst the quadricep group create this movement. Again, examples of both muscles opposing the other. I mentioned earlier that whole body vibration training being unique to conventional training. The reason for this is the vibration and forces from the platform cause the body to work in an unusual way. The spinal cord and muscles work in synergy with one another on their own accord, independently from the brain's control, therefore making the brain kind of redundant. During use of whole body vibration training, the nervous system and the muscles become the master and the brain becomes the apprentice. The nervous system and the muscles send information to the brain, and the brain learns fine and gross motor skills as a result, as well as making new connections and establishing new pathways with the muscles. The body's movement is no longer limited in its ability by the brain damage. The long-term effects on the body of whole body vibration training is a brain with stronger brain to muscle, or technical term, neuromuscular pathways. Not just to the muscles it knows and uses so well, but also the muscles that it has never used or spoken to before. Examples to prolonged use has helped stroke sufferers regain gross motor skills such as the control of a limb or movement. Cerebral palsy sufferers develop fine and gross motor skills such as wriggling their toes, better balance, walking, etc. Conventional rehabilitation training uses a variety of methods, all of which are necessary to develop the body for both posture and movement purposes, but what all these forms have in common is they require the brain's input for any movement to take place. This will only encourage the stronger, well-used muscles to develop, and the weaker muscles that are not used to remain weak and are kind of left behind. Whole body vibration training allows the less favoured muscles the opportunity to be utilised and will encourage the brain to recruit these muscles more often moving forwards. These effects are not short-lived or temporary. They remain constant and will become better the more they are repeated. The question is, will this help those who suffer from cerebral palsy and other mobility issues? Fortunately, yes it will. Whole body vibration training has been extensively researched and documented for decades. There have been many medical studies specifically looking at the benefits for cerebral palsy sufferers. Please see the comments below this video for links to these studies. Thank you very much for watching the video. Feel free to share it with someone who it might benefit. If you've got any questions, please feel free to get in touch.